Discover the incredible connection, a little girl's heartwarming plea for a mommy and a home. In the heart of a small American town, where every street was lined with whispering willows and laughter danced on the breeze, lived 8-year-old Emma Hart. With a wild mane of golden curls and bright blue eyes that sparkled like the summer sky, she was a beacon of joy and imagination. But behind that radiant smile lay a weight and ever-present uncertainty about where she would sleep tomorrow. Emma spent her days daydreaming of a loving family, conjuring adventures in her mind where she was a brave hero taking on the world. But one fateful day, Emma was playing hide-and-seek in the town library's cozy corners when her ears caught the muffled murmurs of her social worker, Ms. Carter. Their words dripped with concern, and a familiar pang of fear gripped Emma's chest. "Another foster home might be best for her," Ms. Carter whispered, the heaviness of her tone sinking deep into Emma's heart. As her dreams of a stable home began to unravel, fear clawed at her insides, making her vibrant imaginings flicker dimly. She was terrified. Determined to reclaim her dreams, Emma began to pour her soul into handwritten letters addressed to Mommy. In those pages, she spilled her wishes for love, security, and belonging. "Dear Mommy," she wrote, her delicate handwriting steady despite the weight of her words, "I wish for a home where laughter is never-ending and hugs are the currency of every day." These tender letters, anchored by youthful hope, were secretly dropped into her backpack, each one a whispered plea crying out to the universe. As fate would have it, one day Emma's letters slipped from her backpack during recess, fluttering into the hands of Mrs. June, the kind-hearted lady from the bakery. With each letter read, tears welled in the eyes of the townsfolk who unearthed them. The strength of Emma's words sparked something profound, a wave of compassion washed over the community. Soon, coffee fundraisers, bake sales, and heartfelt gatherings sprang to life, all fueled by Emma's longing she was loved and valued, even if she didn't always know it. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. But then, just as Emma's hopes seemed to take flight, a perfect couple appeared on the horizon, expressing their interest in adopting her. The once unified town found itself gripped with tension. Voices filled the air with questions that churned unease in Emma's stomach. Who would be the right fit for her? The community that rallied to support her now stood divided over what was just and fair amidst the complexities of family and economic stability. As the excitement built towards the Hope for Emma fundraiser, Emma stood at the center of it all, her little figure salt of the earth in the swell of the crowd. The air was electric with stories shared, laughter ringing through the halls, yet the whispers of discontent wove through like a shadow. With every story, her heart thumped louder, a rhythmic reminder of her longing to belong. As the tension reached its peak, a voice rang out, slicing through the air, "What if instead of waiting we all could be the family she needs?" Emma's eyes widened, the room teetering on a precipice, her heart filled with a flicker of hope. In that moment, she was more than a girl searching for a home, she was a catalyst for change, the question echoing in the room, what truly makes a family? The silence in the room hung heavy, and for a moment, it felt like time stood still. Emma could see the faces around her, a mix of surprise, understanding, and concern. Their eyes, once fixed on her with pity, now flickered with a spark of potential. Could they? Could they really all come together to be the family she desperately yearned for? As the enthusiasm of the moment took root, more voices chimed in. "We could form a village." One lady exclaimed, her arms animated as if inviting everyone to join in a warm embrace. "Emma deserves joy every single day. We could take turns dinner, homework, bedtime stories." Emma's heart raced at the idea. Her mind spun with images of Friday night pizza parties at Ms. June's bakery, summer picnics by the lake with Mr. Rogers coaching, and cozy movie nights with a rotating cast of caring adults. It was more than just a dream, it was a possibility, a kind of family woven together by love and laughter rather than bloodlines alone. Yet, with each suggestion that floated through the air, Emma felt an undercurrent of doubt. Would they really do it? Would they show up for her, day after day? She'd grown accustomed to the ebb and flow of affection, knowing it could vanish just as quickly as it appeared, like the last rays of sunlight on a cloudy evening. Seeing the flickers of uncertainty in the adult's eyes, Emma took a deep breath. She knew she had to speak up, to be brave in this moment that could change everything. What if I got to pick who spends time with me? What if I choose my family? Her voice trembled with sincerity. The room went quiet again, the weight of her words settling like soft snowfall. Her honesty created a bridge between her hope and the reality around her, and as the seconds passed, the adults exchanged glances that spoke volumes. This wasn't just about the perfect couple anymore, this was about a community raising a child together. I think that's beautiful, Emma. Mrs. June responded with a grin, her eyes sparkling. You deserve to feel loved in the way that feels best to you. Momentum built with each new idea, the buzz in the room shifting from apprehension to excitement. One by one, members of the community began to voice their commitment to Emma. They agreed to take turns being there for her, volunteering to be her new family in whatever shape that took. Emma's smile broadened, a pure reflection of the hope sparking within her heart. The buzzing warmth wrapped around her, and for the first time, she felt that maybe, just maybe, she wasn't going to be lost again. Hope was hovering like the fireflies she wished to catch, shimmering gently in the dusk. As the fundraiser jumped into full swing, excitement swirled. Emma watched her dream breathe life, a tapestry of love and warmth unfolding before her very eyes. But in the midst of exhilaration, she couldn't shake a nagging question. What if not everyone was on board with this idea? As the night wore on and laughter filled the air, Emma's heart raced with mixed emotions. Just how this would all work out remained a mystery. She smiled brightly, but deep within, another worry loomed. Was this hope built on shaky ground? And in that swirling mix of joy and anxiety, she wondered, was she truly about to find a family, or was this just another chapter of fleeting dreams? The next step in this new journey beckoned, waiting to reveal its secrets. Emma felt ready, but first, she would have to confront the shadows lingering in the recesses of her heart. The next day felt different. The sun poured into Emma's room, painting everything in warm shades of gold. She couldn't help but smile, her heart racing as the memories from the night before replayed in her mind. A village. A family. The thought filled her with a mix of joy and anxiety. As she got dressed, the buzzing excitement couldn't shake off the tiniest voice whispering fears. Would the grown-ups really uphold their promises? Could she trust them to show up? With those questions swirling, Emma skipped breakfast and raced to the meeting spot, a local park where they decided to gather for their first official family day. She envisioned Ms. June arriving with brownies, and Mr. Rogers carrying a soccer ball. The laughter from the night before echoed in her ears, making her spirit soar. But walking towards the park, the thrill was punctuated with a knot of unease settling in her stomach. When she arrived, the park was alive with energy. Kids were already running around, and adults were setting up picnic tables adorned with colorful tablecloths. Everyone greeted her with smiles, but amid the joy, she noticed a couple of familiar faces looking skeptical. They stood aloof, arms crossed, eyes wary. "Hey, Emma," chirped Lisa, another girl from school. "Do you want to help me set up the games?" "Sure," Emma replied, but her eyes drifted toward the uncertain adults lingering near the edge of the group. She felt an unusual weight in her chest, a flash of disappointment mingling with hope. As the festivities unfolded, laughter filled the air. Emma took turns with the adults tossing a frisbee, helping serve food, and even joining in a water balloon toss that left everyone soaked and giggling. For a moment, everything felt perfect. She wanted to forget her worries, to embrace the warmth growing inside her. But soon, an argument broke out nearby. What's the plan for Emma's care, really? Can we trust this setup? A man's voice chimed in, frustration palpable. Emma's heart sank, feeling the chill of doubt creeping back. Yeah, another voice chimed in, we can't just play house and pretend this will work. She needs stability, not a rotating cast of characters. Emma's stomach turned. For all the joy surrounding her, the reality of their words struck like a cold wind. In a sea of bustling laughter, here was a reminder of her fears. What if it didn't hold? What if they couldn't really make this work? She took a deep breath and gathered her courage. Excuse me. Emma called, stepping forward. The lively chatter faded as eyes turned to her. I know you're worried, she hesitated, the lump in her throat making it hard to continue. But I need you all to believe in this. I don't just want another thing. I want a family. If you promise to be there, I promise to try. The silence felt heavy again. Emma could see the shift in the adults' expressions. An array of emotions danced across their faces. Concern, empathy, realization. Finally, Mrs. June stepped forward. Emma, that's beautiful. And you're right, we need to believe too. But it's going to take all of us working together to make this happen. Emma felt a flutter of hope, yet the cautiousness still lingered. Could they really bridge this divide together? Would they all truly believe in her vision for a family? With those thoughts whirling in her mind, she realized this was just the beginning. They had come far, but the path ahead was still unclear. The laughter resumed, but Emma's heart raced with new urgency. She had taken a leap, but could they catch her? As they stepped into the next moment, a fresh realization dawned on her. She might have sparked change, but it needed nurturing. Would the village stand strong, or would the challenges ahead tear them apart? The future hung in the balance, waiting for their next move. With the tension in the park slowly easing, Emma felt a tingle of hope. Adults shifted closer to one another, their eyes no longer locked with doubt but with a mixture of concern and thoughtfulness. She could sense a change in the air, a willingness to listen. Just then, the sound of laughter erupted from a group of children chasing after a colorful kite that danced in the wind. Emma turned to see Lisa and a few others cheering it on, their carefree spirits pulling her back into the moment. She couldn't help but smile, even as she felt a bit fragile inside. Let's play. A boy shouted, his voice cutting through the murmurings of the adults. Emma's heart leaped. This was the kind of distraction she needed, a chance to share joy and laughter with others. Okay. She replied, dashing toward the crowd. The whirlwind of excitement enveloped her as they formed teams. Tagging along with Ms. June and a few others, Emma felt the warmth of belonging return. Hours slipped by in a joyful blur of games, laughter, and shared stories. The initial tension seemed to fade, but every now and then, she caught glances of the skeptical adults whose arms remained stubbornly crossed. As they gathered for food, the aroma of grilled burgers wafted through the air, mingling with the sweetness of Ms. June's brownies. Emma filled her plate, then hesitated. She spotted Mr. Rogers sitting alone at one of the picnic tables, watching the frolicking children with an expression that seemed to echo her earlier worries. Making her way over, she sat next to him. "Hi, Mr. Rogers," Emma said softly. "You look a little lonely." He looked at her, surprised. "Hey, Emma. I guess I am," he confessed, a faint smile breaking through. "Do you want to play with us?" Emma asked, her eyes earnest. "We could use a referee for the next game." For a moment, he hesitated. Then, with a chuckle, he nodded. "All right, I'll try to keep things fair." "But you know," Emma, his voice trailed off, his gaze drifting toward the chaos of the park. "What?" she asked, her curiosity piqued. He sighed, collecting his thoughts. "I think the worry I have it comes from wanting to protect you. We all want to do what's best, but it's hard to figure out what that is. Emma's heart sank a little. I want to feel safe, too. But I also want you all to try. Like I said earlier, we need to believe together. Mr. Rogers stared at her, and she could see a flicker of understanding in his eyes. You're wise beyond your years, Emma, he said quietly, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. They shared a moment, a bond forming in their mutual apprehensions. Looking around, Emma saw families beginning to merge, adults mingling, and shy kids finding one another to play. The park that had felt so divided began to take on a new light. But just as she started to feel a sense of unity, the unsettling voices from earlier crept back in her mind. Was this moment of connection enough? Would it last? The fragile piece hung by a thread. Suddenly, a loud crash interrupted her thoughts as one of the tables tipped over, sending plates and cups flying. Gasps filled the air, and the fun was interrupted. Emma's heart raced again, this time not out of excitement, but fear. Would this chaos rip apart the hopeful connections they had just begun to form? As Emma looked from worried face to worried face, she asked herself again, was she strong enough to keep the family she dreamt of together? The answer felt elusive, and uncertainty twisted in her stomach, leading her to wonder what would happen next. Would the village truly come together, or were they destined to fall apart again? The crash echoed through the park, sending a ripple of shock among the gathering. Emma's heart thudded in her chest as she glanced around, her thoughts racing. The adults, once so eager to mingle, were now frozen, eyes darting from the fallen table to each other, uncertainty creeping back into their expressions. While laughter from the children faded into an anxious hush, Emma stood up, her instincts kicking in. It's okay. It was just an accident. She called out, her voice carrying over the hushed crowd. Though she felt small, she needed to stand firm. Amidst the chaos, Mr. Rogers stood up, dusting off his hands as he went to help. Everybody, let us just breathe, he said, his tone steadying the anxious murmurs. Accidents happen. More plates had clattered to the ground than she first thought, bits of chicken and salad clung to the grass in a tumbled mess. Emma looked around again and spotted Lisa, face scrunched in worry. Are you okay? Emma asked, kneeling beside her friend. I think so, Lisa replied, biting her lip. But what if they all never want to play again? What if this breaks everything? Emma felt a pang in her chest. We can fix this, she said, determined. We can help. If we just show them we're all still here for each other. Her words trailed off as she contemplated the adults again. We just have to show we care. It might not go back to normal right away, but we need to keep trying. The adults were starting to get up, brushing off grass-stained clothes and collecting their scattered thoughts, but the skepticism loomed. Emma's gaze shifted to the adults' worried faces, each one a different shade of unease. She felt something bubble up inside of her, a mix of fear for what might happen and hope for how they could come back together. She opened her mouth to speak again. I know it seems scary right now, she said, her voice growing clear and confident. But we need to remember all the fun we had earlier. Everyone was laughing and playing. That's what family is. No one's perfect, it's okay to mess up. We just have to work together. Slowly, heads nodded, and Mr. Rogers smiled, giving her an encouraging look that felt like a warm light. One by one, families began to reconnect, not in isolation but in unity. A few adults helped pick up the fallen plates, sharing quiet laughter once more. Emma felt the tension begin to melt away again, her heart swelling with a brighter hope. Just as everything felt like it was returning to that lovely sense of togetherness, another loud crash sent everyone spinning back into shock. This time, it wasn't a table but the kite they had cherished. Its string had snapped, and it spiraled downward, landing feet away from Emma. She could feel her heart drop. No! Emma whispered to herself. Could one more accident shatter the fragile piece they had just started to rebuild? Without thinking, she dashed toward the fallen kite. She needed to do something. Maybe this wasn't just a broken kite, it was a chance to show everyone what they'd learned today. As she reached for the colorful craft, Emma felt determination pushing her forward. She didn't know if it would erase the chaos of the moment, but she was going to give it her all. What if the answer to holding everyone together was right here, tethered to that kite? With a deep breath, she picked it up and called out to the crowd, "Look! We can fix this together. Just like we can fix everything else." As Emma's voice rang across the park, she hoped they would realize that reconnecting meant more than overcoming accidents. It was about finding joy even in the mess, about building something beautiful from the pieces. The question lingered in her mind, heavy yet hopeful: was this the moment that could truly show them how to come together? Would they catch the dream she danced around, one of a family forged through every challenge? Emma stood there, holding the broken kite as the sun began to set, its warm colors casting long shadows across the park. The noise of chatter and laughter had fallen to a dull murmur again. She could feel the weight of all those eyes on her, wondering, unsure, some even angry. But what she felt most was the thumping of her heart, echoing in her ears like a drum urging her onward. Lisa, still at her side, looked up at her wide-eyed. "What do we do now?" she whispered, her voice barely above a tremor. Emma glanced back at the crowd, feeling the mix of hope and fear swirling inside her. She closed her fingers around the frayed string of the kite, a symbol of both what was broken and what could still be. "We fix it," Emma said with a new certainty. "Together." She turned back to the adults, finding Mr. Rogers still standing nearby, his expression encouraging. If anyone could inspire them to try again, it was him. "Who wants to help fix this kite?" Emma called out, her voice climbing in strength. "We can make it soar again." "I know we can." The hesitant chatter slowly warmed into murmurs of agreement. A few children wandered forward, curious to see what she was so passionate about. They began to gather around her like petals drawn to the sun. "I can help," piped up Billy, his little hands already reaching for the broken fabric and string. "Can we go up the hill? It'll fly really high there." That innocent excitement sparked something within the adults. One by one, they began to move closer, drawn in not just by the kite but by the simple joy radiating from Emma and her friends. Mrs. Jenkins, Lisa's mom, stepped forward with a smile, her hands already searching through her bag for tape. "Let me help with that," she said, her voice soothing the tension in the AIR.AS. They all gathered around. Emma felt the energy shift. Adults laughed along as they fumbled with the materials, and children danced around like the kite itself was still in the air. Emma felt lighter, as if the weight of the world had been gently lifted from her shoulders. They were starting to rebuild not just the kite, but the connections that had felt so precarious moments ago. "Remember when we were all having fun earlier?" Mr. Rogers shouted, cutting through the laughter. "That's what this is about. We can't let a little mess stop our joy." Emma's heart soared. With each passing moment, with every shared laugh, they were reminded of what really mattered: being together, embracing the chaos of life with open hearts. But just as they secured a knot, the wind picked up, sending a gust that caught the kite, pulling it toward the sky as if it was beckoning for freedom. The vibrant colors fluttered and danced in the sunlight, a sight that drew gasps from the crowd. "Look! It's working!" Lisa cheered, her eyes bright and full of amazement. Emma's heart swelled with pride. It wasn't just a kite they were repairing, it was hope. As the final knot was tied, an unexpected gust pulled the kite higher than anyone anticipated. Suddenly, the string, strained and taut, snapped once more, leaving the kite to drift into the vast blue sky. Stunned silence wrapped around them. Emma's heart sank all over again. "Wait! We can get it back," she called out, determination blossoming anew. This time, they needed to rally together not just to fix the kite, but to chase after it. Would they summon the courage to reach for the dream once more? To believe in each other and their bond? With every heartbeat echoing in her ears, Emma sprinted after it, fueled by the hope of rekindling their spirit. Would the shared experience of reaching for the sky bring them closer, or would this be another moment of broken connection? Emma was determined to find out. Emma dashed across the grass, each step fueled by a mix of urgency and conviction. Behind her, the crowd stirred as if caught in the spell of her determination. She could hear the gasps and whispers. Some people started to follow, a ripple of energy blossoming as they sensed what was happening. "Come on, everyone. We can't just let it go," she shouted, her voice rising above the sound of the wind. Billy took hold of Lisa's hand, tugging her forward. "Let us catch it," he yelled, eyes sparkling with excitement. The adults began to chase after her too, drawn by that innocent enthusiasm breaking through their worries. "Over there. It's heading toward the tree." Mr. Rogers pointed, and Emma turned her head just in time to see the kite flitting above them like a bird trying to escape its cage. Adrenaline surged through her veins. If they could just get closer. The kite danced higher, the colors gleaming in the fading light. Emma felt a mingling of fear and exhilaration in her chest. What if they couldn't retrieve it? What if it soared away forever, just like they had almost done with their own joy? But she pushed those thoughts aside. They were together, and together they could do anything. As they pounded the earth with their feet, laughter intertwined with the frantic chase filled the air. The tension of moments before seemed to dissipate, replaced by a hopeful camaraderie. Emma could almost feel the kite whispering to her, telling her to keep going. "Faster. Don't give up," she urged herself, feeling the warmth of the crowd behind her. Then, in an incredible twist, the kite began to spiral downward, captured by a gentle current. Hope surged through Emma. "This is it. We can catch it." She reached out, hands stretching toward the colorful fabric, but just as it dipped down, another gust lifted it once more. "No!" she gasped, fear creeping back in. They were close, so close. Just a few more steps and suddenly, Emma tripped on the uneven grass and tumbled to the ground. The laughter around her faded momentarily into gasps. For a heartbeat, the world slowed as she lay there, staring up at the sky, the kite still floating overhead. But she pushed herself up quickly, brushing dirt from her knees. "I'm fine. Keep going," she called out, her voice strong even as she felt her heart race. The group didn't hesitate. They surged forward together, adrenaline coursing through all of them. Emma, now painfully aware of being the reason they had united, grew more determined. By the time they reached the base of the hill, they had formed a colorful parade chasing dreams. "Higher! Up the hill!" Billy shouted, pulling his friends along. Emma followed his lead, her eyes never leaving the kite. It swayed back and forth, a beacon leading them onward, showing them that chasing dreams is worth any falls or tumbles along the way. As they finally climbed to the crest of the hill, Emma's heart quickened at the sight. The wind caught the kite, pulling it just within reach. The crowd stopped at the top, panting, eyes wide with wonder. She could feel their shared optimism bubbling in the air, and in that moment, she realized this was bigger than a kite. It was about hope, about bringing the community together, about believing they could overcome any obstacle. "Let us get it," she shouted one last time, her voice ringing clear as the group surged forward once more, racing toward the sky. But just as they reached for the trailed strings, the kite dove again, gliding downward as if inviting them to the next chapter of their adventure. Would they all gather their courage, trust one another, and grasp this moment before it slipped away once more? With hearts pounding, they all jumped, all together, reaching for the impossible, every single one of them, interlinked by the same daring hope. Emma closed her eyes for a brief second, envisioning what lay beyond the kite. When she opened them again, she was ready for whatever came next. The moment their feet left the ground, time seemed to hang still, like the kite hovering just above them. Emma's heart raced as she reached for the vibrant fabric, her fingertips grazing the edges for just a heartbeat. The punch of anticipation surged in her chest. Would they finally catch it? Then, with the wind's fickle hand pushing upward, the kite danced back into the open sky, teasing them. Emma couldn't help but laugh, the sound bubbling up despite the obvious frustration. It felt like chasing a dream that kept slipping through her fingers just when she thought it was within reach. "Don't stop!" shouted Lisa, her voice bright with encouragement. The other children echoed her words, spurring each other on. Emma felt a spark of renewed energy, a second wind fueling their chase. "We won, let it go!" she shouted, not just to rally her friends but as a promise to herself. As they raced down the slope, the world around them faded, leaving just the thrill of pursuit and the vibrant colors of the kite against the dusky sky. There was a shared understanding among them: it wasn't merely about the kite. It was about unity, dreams, and never giving up. "Turn right!" Billy hollered, leading them toward a grove of trees that swayed gently, creating a whimsical frame for the kite's descent. They sprinted, hearts pounding in time with their footsteps. The world felt alive, full of possibilities. Before they knew it, the kite spiraled down into the clearing just ahead. Emma's breath caught as she spotted a tangle of grass and flowers cradling it gently. "This is it!" she called, heart fluttering with hope. The group surged ahead, laughter mingled with shouts of accomplishment. As they approached the spot, Emma's excitement dimmed for a moment. The kite lay still, its vibrant colors dimmed by the gathering shadows. Did they lose it? The thought pierced her. But as she reached out, the kite seemed to respond, a whisper of wind catching it, causing it to flutter just out of her grasp. "Be careful," Mr. Rogers warned, his voice slicing through the bubbling tension as he stepped back to give everyone room. Emma focused, drawing in a deep breath. "Together," she proclaimed, summoning the strength they shared in their chase. The crowd formed a circle around the kite, their excitement palpable. One by one, they joined hands, a human chain of determination. With a collective push, they leaned forward, reaching for the brightly colored fabric that embodied their hopes and dreams. In that moment, it wasn't just about getting the kite, it was about the bonds they were forming, connections that felt stronger than the string holding the kite captive. The wind picked up again, swirling around them like a warm embrace. As they leaned closer, Emma felt the whispered laughter of the children next to her, the hopeful murmurs of the adults. They were all in this together. "On 3. She exclaimed, counting them down with the rhythm of her heart. 1. 2. 3. As they lunged forward together, the kite surged upward, catching the wind and taking flight once more, higher than before. The laughter of the crowd rang out, a beautiful melody of joy echoing against the sky, intertwining with the fading sunlight. But amidst the laughter, something flickered in Emma's chest, a tiny spark of uncertainty. Was it too late to grasp this fleeting moment? Suddenly, an unexpected twist of fate turned the kite sideways, dragging it right toward the group again. Emma's eyes widened. This was their chance. But at that moment, she felt the tiniest nudge, the tug of a small hand grasping her skirt. It was Lisa, eyes wide with a mix of fear and wonder. "What if we can't? What if we slip?" In that split second, Emma understood. When it comes to chasing dreams, can you risk it all? Can they trust in themselves and each other as they reached for what was right above? With hearts poised for whatever happens next, they prepared to leap once more. Would they find strength and unity to seize this opportunity? Or would the kite, a symbol of their dreams, evade them once again? As the children huddled together, nerves rippling through their small bodies, the kite continued to ascend, embracing the sky with wild abandon. Emma looked at her friends, their faces lit with a mixture of determination and fear. Lisa's grip tightened on her skirt, and in that moment, all Emma could see was the doubt swimming in her friend's eyes. "Listen," Emma said, her voice steadier than she felt. "We're not alone here. If we do this together, we'll succeed. We can't let fear stop us." The words flowed out of her, charged with more conviction than she thought she had. The group slowly nodded, small sparks of hope igniting in their expressions, even as the kite danced alluringly above. "Trust," she whispered, and they shared a knowing glance. They were a team, like a woven string holding something precious, a dream. As they positioned themselves for one last push, Emma noticed Mr. Rogers, who stood back, arms crossed but a smile breaking through. His encouragement made her feel lighter. This wasn't just about a kite, it was about the moments they were creating, about believing in each other. "Let us count again," Emma suggested, her heart racing in sync with the wind. "On 3. 1, 2, 3. In unison, they lunged forward, arms stretching high, fingertips brushing against the tail of the kite. The wind caught the fabric more fiercely, whipping it from their reach. And in that fleeting second, Emma's heart sank. It was like watching the sun slip below the horizon. But there was no time to dwell. Immediately, she felt a surge of strength rise within her, from the very core of her belief in friendship. "Don't let go!" Billy shouted, and they collectively leaned closer, drawing strength from one another. Emma saw determination replace fear on Lisa's face, and she felt her own spirit rekindle. With another gust, the kite bobbed hesitantly, almost as if it were weighing its options. Emma's eyes narrowed in focus. "It's ours," she declared, fueled by the sounds of her friends chanting her words, a rhythmic echo pounding through the air. They collectively reached, fingers stretching, and with one final coordinated effort, a miracle happened. The kite tilted, gently floating down like a feather, landing softly into their outstretched arms. Surprised gasps filled the air, quickly followed by jubilant cheers as they tumbled backward, laughter bursting from them. The vibrant colors of the kite glimmered fiercely, even against the evening sky. Emma clutched it tight, feeling as if she had caught not just fabric, but the very essence of their laughter, dreams, and shared moments. A wave of disbelief washed over her, but it was pulled away swiftly by the thrill coursing through her veins. "Look at us!" Lisa squealed, her eyes sparkling like the stars that would soon peek out to watch. The group of kids erupted into joyous chaos, hugging one another, celebrating their unexpected victory, but amid the cheer, Emma's heart tightened again. Was this just a temporary triumph? Could they hold on to this feeling when the night came, dark and relentless? As the sky deepened into twilight, the laughter slowly faded, leaving an echo of warmth in its place. "What do we do now?" Lisa's small voice cut through the night air, a thread of uncertainty knitting itself back into the celebration. Emma looked around at her friends, feeling their collective hope, yet crushed by a new question. What did this victory mean in the grand scheme of their lives? This kite had set them free, igniting a moment of togetherness that felt tangible, almost divine, but would it last? As they gathered the colorful strands, Emma took a deep breath, feeling the weight of their flying dreams. "Let us promise to keep chasing dreams together," she said, her words weaving into the fabric of their bond. And yet, even as they tied the kite to a nearby tree, a shadow of doubt hovered. Would their dreams fly high again, or would they be left to wither under starlit skies? The answers flickered just out of reach, spiraling like the kite above. Emma's heart raced again, sensing that this journey was only just beginning, and she couldn't shake the feeling that something profound awaited them just beyond the horizon. What if there was more than just a kite in the sky? What if the real adventure was yet to be discovered? As the twilight deepened, Emma and her friends clutched the taut string of the kite, now resting peacefully against the tree, a symbol of their togetherness. Their laughter resonated, a sound of triumph against the night's quiet. Yet, Emma could feel that same tingle of uncertainty swirling inside her. "Let us promise to keep chasing dreams together," she urged, her voice bright with determination. The kids nodded, their faces glowing in the fading light, but Emma noticed a flicker of doubt in some of the adults' expressions nearby. Just moments ago, they had all united in joy, but how quickly changeable hope could be. One by one, the adults approached, their bemused faces cracking into warm smiles. Mr. Rogers stepped forward first, kneeling down to meet Emma's gaze. "You led us today, Emma," he said softly. "You reminded us that family doesn't have to look a certain way. It can be a collection of people who care." Mrs. June chimed in, her voice full of warmth. "What you did today was brave. You made us believe in something bigger than just ourselves." Encouraged by their praise, Emma felt her heart swell. "We're a community, right? We can help each other." She beamed, looking at every adult who had committed to this new family arrangement. With their eyes glimmering in agreement, a young man shouted, "Then let us make sure we're there for Emma every day. Let us create routines, traditions." Others murmured in agreement, sharing spontaneous ideas about weekly dinners and movie nights, the warmth in the air growing palpable. "I want to learn to bake," Emma exclaimed, excitement bubbling forth. "Can we all come to Ms. June's and make brownies?" The thought pulled laughter from the crowd, a simple idea that held so much meaning, weaving them into a shared family experience, and just like that, the tension that hung in the air melted away, replaced with a sense of connection stronger than she had ever felt before. Each adult seemed to come alive with the idea. They began to discuss how frequently they would gather, each suggestion strengthening the community Emma had sparked. With each plan spoken aloud, Emma's heart raced in delight. These dreams felt real now, solid like the trees standing before them. As the stars appeared one by one, Emma felt lighter. Every fear she had about being abandoned or forgotten began to lift. "We can do this together," she shouted, and cheers erupted from the kids, echoed by the adults. "We will be Emma's family." Before long, the park transformed into a tapestry of life. Conversations rich with laughter filled the air, friendships blossoming anew with each touch of shared experiences. Emma gazed around, her eyes widening as she spotted the kite fluttering gently in the evening breeze. "You see that?" Lisa said, pointing up at the sky. "It's like it's celebrating with us." "Yes. It's a promise," Emma replied, voice thick with emotion. "Just like we promised to be there for each other." In that moment, under the vast expanse of starlit sky, Emma realized that she didn't need a perfect family, just people who loved her in their own unique ways. It was a bittersweet revelation. Every little moment they would share, every laugh and tear, would weave together into something beautiful, something that couldn't be torn apart. With every twinkle in the sky mirroring the warmth in her heart, Emma felt a rush of gratitude. She touched the string of the kite, feeling its message resonate deep within her. Hope had become something real, something she could grasp, just like the colors that flew above her head. And as the night deepened, looking at her vibrant community gathered together beneath the stars, she knew this was just the beginning. They were all in this flight with her. The patchwork family they were creating felt stronger and more vibrant than she had ever dreamed, each thread woven from the love and care they'd put into their promises. "Remember this," she thought, glancing at her friends, the adults laughing and teasing one another, joy woven through their banter. "Together we can soar to any height." Hope ignited like the stars above, twinkling with promise and potential. And with that feeling surging in her heart, she whispered to herself, "This is my family." As they all turned to leave the park, smiles adorning their faces, Emma felt a wave of warmth wrap around her, a sense of belonging she had yearned for, the true essence of home. Now standing at a crossroads of possibility, she followed her community into the warm embrace of the night, ready to chase every dream that lay before them. So, what about you? Are you ready to be part of something bigger? To join a community? Don't wait not even one more second to share these stories of hope and family. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and ensure more heartwarming tales find their way to those who need it. Comment your reactions and feelings about this incredible transformation. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this magical journey of hope. You need to subscribe now, because only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.